Hello, I'm Lizzie and this is Lizzie Reads, and welcome to a Halloween romance reading recommendations that you still have time to squeeze into your TBR. So I'm very aware we're like the first week into October now, and you might be thinking, I do fancy a Halloweeny romance read. Cut it into your mysteries, your horrors, your thrillers this month, and think I could do with a little romance, but I haven't got any already on my TBR and I need to find some to squeeze in. I've got you covered. I've just got 5 books to talk to you about, and each of them are either short, so you can get through them really quickly, and available on some sort of platforms such as Scribd or KU, or they are really easy and fast-paced to read. I found that Halloween romances are quite hard to come by. I think it's mainly a combination of it's really hard to search, and whenever you type in anything close to it, it often brings up Christmas romances. More on that later this year. And it's just really hard to find good quality Halloween romances. And there are a few things that can be applicable in this sort of section, but I've picked each of them for a specific reason, and I will get into it now. So first of all, starting off with my number 1 recommendation, the one that I absolutely adored and loved reading and wish I could read again, and I just wish there was more of it. And that is Witches of New Orleans by Bridget Dellery. This is a series of short stories. So it's about a 2 to 3 hour long audiobook. I listened to it on Scribd. I've wanted to read this last year, but I didn't get to it, so I saved it for this year. I read it in September when I was preparing for this. There is a reading vlog where I'm reading it. It is my 24-hour reading challenge vlog, and I will link that down below. And I really loved this. So it's about a coven of witches in New Orleans. Magic is out there in the world. There are witches, there are warlocks, there are vampires, there are shapeshifters. It's just in the world. That's just how life is. It's not explained. It's just jumping straight in. There's no preamble, because you're here for the cute and the fluffy romances. And there are 4 short stories, and they are short. They're almost like little glimpses or little meet cutes. So for example, it's one woman reconnecting with someone she has had a bit of an on again, off again relationship, or a friends with benefits relationship, and it's them reconnecting on work, and that's supernatural related work. It's just about how they come back together and decide, no, this is going to work, and they're sort of re-meet cute. And I think they're really, really lovely, really lovely to read, to listen to, really sweet, really fun, but also very magical, but in a Halloweeny kind of way. I just really enjoyed this. My only criticism, and the only reason I couldn't give it 5 stars, is because I wanted more. I wanted so much more. I just wanted to hear all about these witches and their lives and their setup. But I was satisfied in the sense that I felt like I got a full story, even though it was so short. And I really liked these glimpses into this world. I just wanted more because I loved it so much. If you do feel like you could do with a little bit something really short, then this is definitely for you. Sorry, I had to try and turn the light because I realised how dark it was getting. So sorry about that first clip. I don't have time to reshoot. I'm really sorry. But next is another short audiobook that I listened to on Scribd, and that is Love and Other Scary Things by Lydia Westig. And this is about a woman who is going back to her aunt's Halloween shop to move in and to learn how to run the Halloween store, because her aunt wants to run away with her partner and retire in Florida or something like that. And this, in order to be able to inherit her aunt's Halloween shop, she has to conquer her list from when she was a teenager of 10 scary things. And it's things such as, I think she's scared of heights, she's scared of clowns, she's scared of all natural things of that like that. And then she's also scared of telling this one woman in her town that she's in love with her, because at the time she was in the closet, and this person was the most popular girl in school, and she was really, really in love with her. And it turns out that this person works in her aunt's shop, and she has to complete the 10th task. And her aunt has tasked the two women together to help complete the list, and the idea that she wants them to work together to run the shop. And she knows that this last item is on the list and she wants it to happen. And it's really sweet, really fun, it moves really fast, it's really sexy, and it's really, really great, really enjoyable read. And I loved how much you get of each character in such a short space of time. Really, really quick one. You could literally read this like Halloween week, you could read it now, or really, really easy to fit in, and just really enjoyable and sweet. I loved the setup of this. I feel like there's some really vivid scenes in here, even though I read it a few weeks ago and I've read quite a few different Halloween romances to try and get to this. And let me tell you, a lot of them were terrible. Next, we have one that you might think I'm a little crazy for including, because it is a full-length book. But that is Hex Appeal by Kate Johnson. Now, this one is fairly popular. This is a witchy romance. It's about a coven of 3 witches that live in this house, and it's based in Essex, so it is a English read, which is lovely, because a lot of seasonal romances tend to be American. I really struggle to find seasonal romances that are set in the UK. I just read a lot of American books, and sometimes I want something that's vaguely reminiscent of home, even though Essex is not anywhere near me. However, I found this story to be really quietly charming, because the male main character, Josh, is just inherited a house, and it turns out they haven't paid rent in over 70 years, and he tries to get to this house, and it is this coven's house, and essentially what is happening is the landlords just keep forgetting about it. There is a spell on it, and he keeps getting involved, and he keeps like pushing past it. There's an ancient curse, there's a romance. It's very good fun vibes, and it's very magical. The real reason I read this so quickly is A, because the audiobook's on Scribd, and B, because the house in this is so magical. The house is alive, the house is very much like present. The house is very much a character in this story, and the house creates things, and it's very magical and wonderful, and I was very much hooked, and it was very easy to consume via audiobook. I remember listening to it whilst going on some walks, and like when like the leaves were all falling down. It was a really, really nice time, and I loved it. And I read that last year as well, and I think the main character is called Ellie or Ellen or something like that. And I just remember really, really enjoying it and thinking it was a really good fun time. So I think it could definitely be one that you might be able to squeeze in. Next, I'm going to talk about one that is very popular. It's not the X-Hex, as I'd say that's probably the most popular Halloween romance. I did like the X-Hex, but it wasn't anything amazing. Or anything particularly new. It was nice and witchy and had the Halloween theme and had good characters, but I found it quite slow to read. I was really surprised by how slow I found it to read, so that's why I'm not recommending it in this video. But one that I do think will be very consumable and is very popular, and that is The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. Now, this one, not necessarily a Halloween set romance, little bit off-piste here. However, this one is about a woman who can see ghosts. She essentially is a writer, and she can see ghosts, and she is a writer, and she has a really horrible experience with an ex, and she's just kind of sworn off love. She's got a new editor, and she is a ghostwriter, and she has to work with this new editor. And this new editor is not a fan. She treats her with a little bit of disdain, and then he gets hit by a car. And then something really awful happens to the main character in this, and her father passes away. Her father is the only other person in her life who can see and speak with ghosts, and there she carries a lot of grief and a lot of, obviously she is grieving and her family are grieving, and there's a lot of fraught family relationships in there. But also, aside from this, she goes to this town and the editor is there and as his ghost, and they proceed to fall in love. It's a romance. What do you want me to say? It's beautiful, very lovely. And the reason I think this is good for this kind of season, it might be something better for you if you're not want something like cheesy Halloween. I love, but not everybody loves, I understand. And this is very much got that ghostly, that supernatural vibe, but in a very cozy setting. And the town is very like leaves falling. It's a Gilmore Girls-esque small town, and you know, it's good vibes for this season. And ghosts, what it might be something you haven't thought of for this season, even though it is a romance that everybody's talking about. I've heard a lot of people talking about it, and I think for good reason. Also, it is available, or it was available when I listened to it on Scribd. So definitely repping the Scribd here. This is my last book from Scribd. I have a link for 60 days free trial if you want to try it. And I will get on to the next one. The last one is one that is very different to all of the other books in this list. And that is Trick Me Twice by Becca Steele. This one isn't one that I would say I'd rate 4 or 5 stars. Like a 4.75. Or it depends when you catch me. Okay, I'm not saying this book's a masterpiece, but it's so good. Trick Me Twice by Becca Steele is one that not everyone will like. It is a prep school bully romance. Now, I read this a few years ago when I was just getting into romance, but I do think it's got good Halloween vibes. It is a bully romance, and I haven't read a bully romance in such a long time. I feel like I wonder how I'd feel about that now. It is a prep school bully romance in which the male main character is like the most popular guy, and the female main character is like new, and they just are not getting on. She's done something to him that has pissed him off, and he is being a arsehole. Like, he's not a good person. It's not one of those romances where you really root for the characters. However, there is an element of Halloween and a lot of high sexual tension. There's a Halloween thing. There's a bit of a Halloween chase. They do this crazy, like, chasing masks. Like, there's a lot of, like, Halloween themed. It's like those films where they do, like, crazy, like, Halloween events and all this stuff. It's, like, very much like there's this fair, I think, in it, and they're, like, in back rooms, and it's all very like high drama, high crazy. But if that's more your bag of romance, this one is very consumable. And I do quite like Becca Steele. The other series by Becca Steele, or it's kind of related actually, there's characters in this that feature in one of her other series, which starts as a bully romance series, which I loved. It was one of my first sort of like romance series I found really easy. It was the gateway drug for me into finding out how much I liked romance, and it's very reminiscent of like old fan fiction I used to read. So yeah, that's very that's why I got into it. But I feel like if that's something you feel like you could just like abandon all sense, you can abandon all sense of what's right and wrong. You can read and enjoy this. It's not terrible. Like, it's not the worst one that I've read, but I just feel like it's very easy to read, and I do feel like it may be enjoyed, but heed my warning, it's not for everyone. It's also not like particularly wild or anything, but I just know that bully romances are really, really controversial. So I think my lighting's telling me it's really, really time to go. And thank you so much for watching this. I know this is quite a small recommendations list. Do not fret. Christmas recommendations, you're not going to get one video. You're not going to get 2 videos. You're probably going to get loads of videos. I've already got lists. I've got reams and reams and reams and reams of lists of Christmas romances that you are going to die. You're going to die for this list. So yes, there will be, I'm working on a spreadsheet as well. So actually, there's actually a lot of work going into the Christmas romance list. Christmas romances are my shit. Like, I am obsessed with Christmas romances. And there's going to be no controlling me come November 1st, because that's when Christmas starts in my head. Christmas, I'm already in Christmas. I'm literally already there. But we're going to put a cap on Christmas now. So happy spooky season, and I hope you found something here that you might be interested in reading. Speak to you again soon. Bye.